Sees Robin Burke, who is standing by with a live report for us. Lloyd Jones is dead. Jones was shot to death at his home early this morning. Eyewitness News 16's Tom Russo has more on the events of this day, including the massive manhunt and the eventual capture of Sheriff Jones' alleged killer.
Soon after the news that Sheriff Jones and a prison trustee were shot to death, at least a dozen law enforcement agencies mobilized. A picture of this man, Carl Ray Johnson, was distributed and the manhunt began. Johnson was driving a 1988 Ford pickup. Numerous sightings occurred, but nothing concrete surfaced for several hours. The manhunt began in Simpson County shortly after 8 o'clock. It ended less than 4 hours later on this highway in Covington County. The suspect was seen driving this truck down Highway 35 near Mount Olive.
To the best of my knowledge, they didn't have any problem at all with the arrest.
Even though Simpson County deputies were relieved that the alleged killer was caught, thoughts then turned to Sheriff Jones and his influence within the sheriff's department.
You could follow him anywhere. He worked 7 days a week, 12 and 14 hours a day, and wouldn't ask us to do anything that he wouldn't do himself. And it was an honor for me to work with him the short time that I did.
I've been with him 8 years, and commented to somebody this morning, aside from my father, that nobody's been as good to me as he has. That's all I have.
The Mississippi Highway Patrol has taken over this investigation. So far, no motive has been given for these two murders. Johnson didn't resist arrest and is now in custody in Hattiesburg. With public reaction to Sheriff Jones' murder, here's Eyewitness News 16's Vicki Bunzy.
I'm Vicki Bunzy. For 20 years, Sheriff Lloyd Jones ran Simpson County. Folks who put him in office say he ran a tight ship and governed with a forceful hand.
Because he was strict, and I guess that's what made him a good sheriff.
If you needed Lloyd Jones, you could call him, and as soon as he was aware of that you needed him, he'd be there. He'd be there pronto.
Now, many people are worried. They worry about who will replace Sheriff Jones and what will happen in Simpson County.
What do you think might happen to the county now?
Well, I believe it might get a little bit rough since the sheriff ain't here anymore, unless they put somebody else in, like that. But other than that, I believe it's going to be rough.
Townspeople say Sheriff Jones would have easily won re-election in November, guaranteeing 4 more years. But Wednesday morning, his 2 decades of service came to an abrupt close. Vicki Bunzy, Eyewitness News 16.
The Sheriff's Department in Simpson County says funeral arrangements for Sheriff Jones are pending. Lloyd Jones had been in law enforcement since 1956. His career spanned nearly 40 years of Mississippi history, some of it memorable, some not. Eyewitness News 16's Liz Blankenship has a look at the veteran officer's career and some of the tougher decisions he faced.
Lloyd Jones started his career with the Mississippi Highway Patrol in 1956. He worked his way through the ranks to troop commander. Colonel Jimmy Stringer was a young trooper the first time he met Jones.
And everything I'd always heard about Lloyd Jones was always positive. Very strict, did his job very professionally.
Jones was a commander in 1970 when troopers and police were asked to respond to a possible riot at Jackson State. At this women's dormitory, gunfire erupted. Officers shot into the crowd, killing 2 students.
And all I know, I could just hear the pounding against the windows and glass popping everywhere.
Black leaders held Jones responsible.
He is the man, I keep saying, that's always on the scene. And he's the one who called us niggas.
Jones responded to a congressional committee.
There's a lot of hollering and cussing and rock throwing and bottle throwing going on. It's hard to describe just what was going on. Anybody that says it wasn't a riot doesn't know what they're talking about.
Gene Young remembers the incident well, and he remembers Jones.
A lot of people said that it's very doubtful that those people would have fired without his authority.
The veteran officer retired in '75 and became sheriff in Simpson County the following year. He's been there since, surviving 1 attempt on his life 4 years ago. His career also survived the attention of Andre Jones hanging in the Simpson County Jail. That brought the attention of the national press and the U.S. Justice Department. Jones faced tough times tough decisions.
That goes with the territory also. You must do your job and do what you think's best and what's right.
Colonel Stringer says he used to go by Mendenhall to check on him, pay his respects, kid him about not wearing a gun.
He said that if somebody's going to do you in, they're going to do it.
Stringer figures this will be the biggest funeral in the state. It was the end of an era. Liz Blankenship, Eyewitness News 16.
Lloyd Jones is the third Mississippi sheriff to die at the hands of a gunman since 1982. Franklin County Sheriff James Posey was killed in '82, and 4 years later, Marshall County Sheriff Osborne Bell was gunned down. During that same 13-year period, 9 sheriff's deputies have also been murdered in the line of duty.
You're watching Eyewitness News 16 on 16 APT Jackson.
Massive manhunt. Lawmen hunted down and captured 44-year-old Carl Ray Johnson today near Mount Olive. The hunt began after Sheriff Lloyd Jones and an inmate identified as R.V. Lewis were gunned down outside the sheriff's home near McGee this morning. Investigators say the gunman shot Jones in the neck and chest with a shotgun. Before that, someone shot Mary Walker Langston, wounding her in the leg. She lived just around the corner from Jones. Some witnesses say thousands of dollars were found near the area of the woman's shooting. Just hours after that murder, a man allegedly slashed his ex-wife to death in Mount Olive. Police have taken long following her.
When 2 students were shot and killed at Jackson State, troopers, along with Jackson police, were responding to a possible riot on the campus. Jones retired in 1975 and won the race for Simpson County Sheriff the following year. The hanging of Andre Jones brought national attention and the U.S. Justice Department to the Simpson County Jail. Fellow troopers say despite tough times and tough decisions, Jones was a lawman of the highest caliber.
That goes with the territory also. You must do your job and do what you think's best and what's right. Lloyd Jones was a true professional. When he retired from the Highway Patrol, he was probably the most respected law enforcement officer in the state of Mississippi.
Lloyd Jones was 67 years old. Funeral arrangements are in